Hey guys, so welcome back. So I hope you were able to look at some of the videos that have outlined some of the controversies that we are sifting through when we're evaluating our main two picks for presidential candidates. Yeah, we are going through quite a bit here. And in the last video, I said that I had some evidence or information that might show a little bit more of the personality behind Lee Jae-myung. And I think it's a little bit troubling because not only do I have some childhood evidence that may point to early signs of psychopathy, but now it seems as if we have evidence of him having more psychopathic traits in his mid-adult life. And then even his current campaign slogan, I think, also shows signs of psychopathy. So yeah, I do think that we are dealing with somebody with psychopathic tendencies or is on the spectrum of narcissism to psychopathy. Why do I think it's fair for us to judge? Well, he goes around judging everybody else, including his own brother, whom he tried to put forcibly into a psychiatric institution against his will without even a proper medical basis. So if there's anybody who throws around all of these self-diagnoses, and he's definitely not a medical doctor, I think we actually as citizens also have a right to evaluate our potential president. You know, our neighbor to the north we don't want to get into a conflict with. We need somebody with a sound judge of mind, and we do not want somebody who is always going to be so prone to, as we've seen, hot-headed arguments and then dramatic displays of apologies, because that kind of stuff does not translate well on the world stage. The first piece of evidence from his childhood comes when he was about 16 or 17 years old. This is from like 1980, and what presidential candidates love to do here in Korea is release these pages from their diaries when they were kids. They think that it's gonna show them in a good light, or like how they thought when they were kids. Yeah, usually it's kind of cool, except this that was making the rounds over the media showed a little bit of a kind of a psycho. All right, look at this. First of all, the guy is writing in red ink like he's a serial killer, like writing all like angry like, and it's not even that like of an like, okay, fine, like teenage angst. If you're like mad at somebody or something happened to you, like sure, you can kind of like get out your aggression, but that's why it's a little bit psychotic, because it wasn't even like that kind of a situation, but it did have this cold-blooded little bit of a emotionally detached sense of loss. So let me go through it. Essentially, he describes looking at a girl crush, and it's weird because it goes from realism to like magical realism, which is also another trait of this whole, you know, separation from reality that a lot of psychopaths and narcissists live in. So he says, on a clear day on the rooftop, that girl, okay, let me read it. That girl was praying or something. Now I said that girl, but in the writing, he actually used the phrase that be. 그년. I guess I could say it in Korean, but excuse me if you're a Korean speaker and you get offended, because that's a very offensive term. If you say 그년, 년 is basically like saying be. The proper way to say it is so close. That's why it's so ironic. It's 그녀. 녀 means girl, and that's perfectly fine. You can call any female 녀, but if you add the little at the end of it, you'll get fired, you'll get slapped, you'll get, nyun is like the opposite. So you have to be super careful because nyun is also the same word for year, like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. So people are extremely careful when you're talking about women and you're using that word nya, like girls' generation, 소녀 시대, that's nya. But if you said 소년, ooh, like you would get slapped. And so for him to just casually be like, oh yeah, that bee was praying or something on the rooftop, not a good sign. So he says, on a clear day on the rooftop, that bee was praying or something, but she was huddled in conversation with another guy. Jealousy. Those feelings came up again. What kind of feelings? Sounds a little bit risque. I need to forget them. No wonder that dream last night was correct. Seungyu and I became orphans. So this is his friend. Again, a little bit abandonment issues. We went to a mass wedding. Little cultish. And Seungyu said he knew where the girl lived. A little bit stalkery. It was a tough path getting there. So this was in his dream. He's going to go stalk this girl at her house. Little peeping Tom, that's also a serial killer trait. No matter what guy she gives herself up to, because she's like all promiscuous, I need to turn my back with tears in my eyes and I need to change my mind about her. So basically now, because he has, I guess, in his mind, no chance with this girl because he saw the bee like huddled with some other guy on the rooftop, suddenly he goes back, creates this fantasy world where basically now she's a hoe and he has to then abandon her. So that is kind of like this weird, but before that he does like some peeping Tom stuff and then goes to like some cult and then he abandons and degrades her and then abandons her and then makes it all about him, about like how he has to cry and then turn around and stuff like that. And so that is a little bit creepy. I don't think that was actually the page that he wanted to submit for, the public, but it was kind of like a screenshot. It was screenshotted among the other pages, and then like the netizens really, honed in on that, and they were like, "That's a little creepy, Mr. Lee." So that was a little bit creepy. And so if you're just curious, Yoon Suk-yeol, on the other hand, what his thing looked a little, it was a little corny. He was just saying like, how he missed his family and his parents because I guess he had to go away to study somewhere else, like boarding school or something, like where he wasn't at home, and how he was hungry, like he wanted to eat more food. I guess he was just a hungry boy. Remember the whole conflict with his brother and the sister-in-law where the recordings were really disgusting, where he basically even told his brother that, I'm gonna stab the hole that you came out of. So, in America, there was a lot of hoopla over, Mr. Trump saying that you can just grab them by the pee, but this guy is saying that I'm going to stab you in the biscuit, or stab mama's biscuit, but not only your mama's biscuit, but basically his own. And so that was vile. The story that he made up to the public when people were like, okay, the first time this all came out, why were you being so abusive to your brother and sister-in-law? He said, oh, well, when we got into a fight at a family dinner, my brother and his wife started to hit my mom physically, and they were physically abusive to my mother, so I had to protect her. So that's why I started to yell at him for for years. But this week, when the lawyer of the brother's family released all the tapes, said that was a bold-faced lie that he's been trying to perpetuate for all of these years. That is absolutely not the case. So here again, we have this situation where it looks like he's pretty much the liar. If you're going to say that you're going to, use a knife on your own mama's biscuits, then I think that I would more believe that this politician is the one that does not respect the mother or women. Second example. So this week as well, the actress who also is using the same lawyer, the actress who also is, going for the D again, remember she's put in the lawsuit to try to get the medical records again because she wants to, again, prove that he got a mole down there because she is upset that he is totally denying their torrid love affair because she said that he took her out. It was a very quick romance. That's another case of whole narcissistic personality, the whole love bombing, like swept her off her feet and didn't say that he was married. So she was really upset about that because her situation, like where she had to apparently stop her acting career and live in shame for a while, was because she got caught up with a married man. And then so the fact that he would do that to her, she just got so pissed off. But in the beginning, like on that first date, they went to the ocean side or something, and they had a good meal, and then they were like looking at the ocean. And then apparently she said that he suddenly whipped out like some telephoto lens and snapped a picture of her like while she was like looking at the ocean. And like taking that seems romantic, but what a lot of these kind of people with like these tendencies have are like they want to capture an early image of you, like a snapshot. It's usually in their mind. It's usually not so literal where they're like taking a telephoto picture of you, but they want to take a image of you and set it in their mind and not have it change. And that's where a lot of these arguments then start with these psychopaths or narcissists or sociopaths, is that when you start inevitably as a person changing from that narrow-minded snapshot in time that they have of you, like some idealized version, then they get really upset that you're deviating from that idealized fantasy. So he kind of is like it looks to me like trying to preserve that like best kind of like fantasy fresh, new love image of this beautiful actress that he finally was able to meet looking at the ocean on the first date. And she said that like, it looked like he knew exactly, like he'd been on this course before, like this was a well trodden track where he took women like to this restaurant, to this ocean spot, taking the picture. So that also seems a little sketch to me as well. Okay, now let's go to the current day. I think his new campaign slogan that he refreshed just a few months ago also is a little bit creepy, looks a little bit Manchurian Candidate. It looks to me also reflects a little bit of a kookiness. So the old campaign slogan was Lee Jae-myung은 합니다. So like Lee Jae-myung is gonna do it. Do what? I don't know, it's gonna do something for you. So now it's 앞으로 제대로 나를 위해 이재명. So basically it's supposed to mean that it's like doing it right moving forward, or moving forward we're gonna do it right. Doing it for me, Lee Jae-myung. Like Lee Jae-myung is gonna do it for me. He's gonna do it right moving forward. The country is going to be on track and we're gonna do it right moving forward. So the message is supposed to sound like it's for the voter, but you guys look at the way that, if you look at it in Korean and if you look at the simple sentences, it's like, I think a reminder every time Lee Jae-myung is supposed to go out on stage and look at this message like he's a Manchurian Candidate. It's for him. It's for him. It's for him to be reminded, do it correct. Get it together. From now on, you better get it together. From now on, no more scandals. From now on, no more people disappearing. From now on, don't mess up. And then it says like, why? It's all for you, Lee Jae-myung. All for me, right? 나를 위해 Lee Jae-myung. For me. So again, narcissistic. For him, for all his glory. Why does it also look that way? Look at his latest black and white solo campaign commercial where it starts off, I was all alone. I got here all by myself. It was all me. As if nobody helped him along the way. Nobody helped you? Oh, please. We have a lot of people disappearing because allegedly they helped you a little bit too much and you didn't want them to speak about it. So let's get it a little bit clear here. I think we're dealing with somebody that might be a little bit dangerous. You can't do this type of up and down like dramatics on the world stage. This guy literally kneels for apologies to the Korean public, and he's not even elected president yet. What, he's gonna go kneel in front of the president of the United States? He's gonna kneel in front of Xi Jinping? That is not gonna go over well, especially with the conservatives here in Korea. He's gonna kneel in front of the IMF or the World Bank. That's not gonna go over well. He's gonna kneel in front of everybody after he like does something that, what, not gonna agree with, or he's gonna say he's gonna stab people. What's gonna happen on the world stage? I'm a little bit worried. I think everybody else should be too. I think we need to look into this. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Tune in next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Love you.